This Council will now deal with the proposed resolution under the Companies Ordinance to approve the Companies Unfair Prejudice Petitions Proceedings Rules. Members who wish to speak on the motion will please press the Request to Speak button. I will now call upon the Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury to speak and move the motion. President, I move that the motion under my name as printed on the agenda be passed to approve the Companies Unfair Prejudice Petitions Proceedings Rules, CUPPPR, made by the Chief Justice, CJ, on the 9th of May. The rules is a piece of subsidiary legislation made by the CJ pursuant to Section 727 of the new Companies Ordinance, CO, and it is subject to positive vetting procedures of the Legislative Council. It seeks to prescribe the rules for the proceedings of the Court of First Instance on unfair prejudice petitions. If a current or past member of a company considers that the company's affairs are being or have been conducted in a manner unfairly prejudicial to the interests of the members, or a proposed act or omission of the company would be so prejudicial, the member may present a petition to the court for an order to remedy the situation. Such a petition is generally known as an unfair prejudice petition. While the requirements concerning unfair prejudice petitions are provided in detail in the principal legislation of the new CO, the CUPPPR sets out the rules for proceedings on such petitions covering the following 4 aspects. First, on the presentation of petition, the set of rules provides that the petition must be in the form as prescribed in the schedule. The grounds for presentation and the terms of the order sought must also be specified in the petition. Second, the set of rules also provides that the petitioner must serve copies of the petition on the company and other respondents within a specified period. The court will fix a return day on which all parties must attend before the court for directions in relation to the procedure on the petition. Third, the court may give directions on procedural and other matters on or after the return day. The set of rules set out those matters on which directions may be given. And fourth, on the pronouncing of the order in the court, the order must be drawn up and served in accordance with the CUPPPR. The above rules are made by the CJ. They are generally modeled on relevant existing provisions in the company's winding up rules, Cap 32H, and the practice directions of the judiciary, with the addition of a number of technical provisions. For example, one provision is added to specify that if the court requires the order to be advertised, it must give directions as to the manner and time of advertisement. Another provision is added to set out how the company's winding up rules and the CUPPPR will apply if a petition includes the seeking of an order to wind up the company concerned. These technical provisions will facilitate the handling of different cases. President, the CUPPPR is a piece of technical subsidiary legislation made by the CJ under the new CO. It has been duly scrutinized by the relevant subcommittee of the LegCo. I hope members will support the passage of this motion to facilitate the implementation of the new CO. I move that the motion be passed to approve the CUPPPR made by the CJ. Thank you.
I now propose to you that the motion moved by the Secretary for FSTB be passed. Mr. Wong Ting Kwong. Thank you, President. As the chairman of the subcommittee, I will now report to this Council our discussion on the Companies Unfair Prejudice Petitions Proceedings Rules under the new CO. This rule is set down by the judge of the Court of Final Appeal and has to go through the positive vetting procedures. The subcommittee held one meeting for discussion and for the scrutiny of the provisions. We have also received written submission from the Hong Kong Institute of Directors. The subcommittee has examined the application of the winding up rules and the unfair prejudice petitions rules to an unfair prejudice petition which contains an alternate application. We understand that the CUPPPR mainly amends the winding up rules. Now, coming back to the alternative application, it means the petition includes seeking an order to wind up the company concerned as an alternative remedy. The administration explains that the application of the unfair prejudice petitions rules to an unfair prejudice petition is determined according to Rule 3. The general principle is that the winding up rules apply whenever the petition contains an alternative application. If the winding up rules are applicable to the proceedings of a petition, they also take precedence over the unfair prejudice petitions rules in the event of any inconsistency between them. Members were also concerned about the case that an unfair prejudice petition originally does not include an alternative application at the time of the presentation, but the petitioner subsequently seeks to amend the petition to add a prayer for a winding up order. Now, which rule applies? The administration advises that the amendment requires the leave of court. However, the typical position of the court is to require a fresh winding up petition to be presented instead of granting the leave. It follows that the proceedings on the fresh petition will be subject to the winding up rules only. For service of order, some members have inquired about the reasons for not specifying a time limit for compliance by the petitioner in this regard. The administration advises that pursuant to Section 70 of the Interpretation and General Clauses Ordinance Cap 1, where no time is prescribed or allowed within which anything shall be done, such thing shall be done without unreasonable delay. It follows that the petitioner must duly serve the order on the company before the order is enforced. And so, it will be in the interest of the petitioner, or he will have the incentive to ensure that the office copy of the order is served on the company within a reasonable time. So the administration is of the view that there is no need to set a time limit for the service of order. The subcommittee supports the amendment proposed by the administration. And the passage of CPPRP. The DAB thinks that if a company is or has been engaged in activities that prejudice the interests of any members of the company, then a petition can be made under unfair prejudice petitions. The new CO expands the scope of application of the rule to include acts taken or not yet taken, which will result in prejudice, unfair prejudice. And the CUPPPR revises the format of the winding up rules, including the format there. The proceedings rules will be enhanced and will protect petitioners who are subject to unfair prejudice. So DAB supports the CUPPPR. The report also mentions unfair prejudice petition contains an alternative application and how the two rules apply. To further understanding of the petitioner of the two rules and to minimize any confusions, the administration in time of implementation of the proceeding rules should enhance and step up public education in this regard. Thank you. And I support the amendment.
Does any other member wish to speak? If not, I now call upon the Secretary to reply. The debate will come to a close after the Secretary has replied. Secretary, President, I thank Mr. Wong Ting Kwong for his speech. As I have said just now, this item of subsidiary legislation is modeled on provisions in the company's winding up rules and the practice directions of the judiciary. We need to have the rules in place so that when the new CO comes into effect, the judiciary can continue to deal with unfair prejudice petitions. The subcommittee has studied the rules and has expressed support. So I hope that LegCo will approve of the subsidiary legislation made by the CJ under the new CO. I now put a question to that. Is that the motion moved as the Secretary be passed? For those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against? I think the question is agreed by a majority of the members present.